How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Babble Mouth podcast. This is episode 67. I am Koolme now. Um, I am solo because Nexus is a rat and refuses to do the pod with me. So I'm just doing it by myself. That's not true. Ultimately, we have very, very different schedules. A lot of the times we can make it work, but we're both fucking lazy. There's nothing to it. We're both really lazy when it comes to the pod. We try to make an episode every Tuesday so it's ready to go, but with life happening and things like that, and just constant, yeah, just like a constant life, and our schedules just don't line up that well. There's times where we could do things like there's times where he'll stay up. I'm pretty sure. Like throughout the day to so we could do the pod. So I can't be too hard on him. He has to kind of adjust to my schedule a little bit, I think more than I do with his. So it makes it a little bit harder. And he does a lot for the pod. I'm not gonna be mean to him for not being here. He does pretty much everything for the pod. So I'm gonna try and do a solo episode and make it entertaining. There's a few people I had in mind. I know Boston reached out if I needed a guest, and I wanted to get Orr and maybe Reaper, but it's just kind of like last minute. I thought Nexus and I were gonna do the pod like yesterday or today. It just never happened. So I'm gonna do a solo ep, and then I don't anticipate it being very long. Being solo is kind of hard to do, and he's not gonna like what the format that I'm gonna do with this episode. It's kind of just gonna be an update on me, and I am gonna go over. We're gonna keep it uh natural, I guess, with the Marvel news. I'm still gonna go over some Marvel news. We got the game awards coming up, so hey, you should have been here if you didn't want me to do these things. So yeah. Sorry, had to clear my throat quite a bit for some reason. I'm not smoking yet, no. But yeah, I guess we could do. I'm trying to think if we should do the Marvel news first or the end on the Marvel news. Maybe we do the Marvel news, the Game of the Year stuff, and then kind of what I've been doing. After that, I don't anticipate it being. I think this will probably be the shortest ep that we've done because I'm by myself. But yeah, so let's get into it. Quite a bit of Marvel news. I mean, not really. They did update some Spider-Man 4 information about like where the plot's going, about him not wanting to be Peter Parker and want to just solely focus on being Spider-Man now. I'm not against that. I think that's pretty cool. Um, I think it'll be interesting to finally get. I listen. I'm a huge fucking glaze. I'm a glazer when it comes to Tom Holland and his Spider-Man movies. I love him. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I think he's the best Spider-Man that we've had so far. Um, and I think it makes sense to him being still a kid during the trilogy, or growing into being a man, that he would have some type of father figure from like Tony Stark in Homecoming, and then Nick Fury kind of guiding him in the right direction, to then him meeting other Spider-Men from different dimensions and universes to kind of guide him and show him what who he's supposed to become. So I think his arcs and story is pretty cool, and it makes sense to why he. Oh, and I forgot Doctor Strange was also kind of part of guiding him in No Way Home a little bit, but not really. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to whatever they do next. Um, he did get the classic suit at the end of No Way Home, so that's pretty exciting. Obviously, You can't use Stark Tech anymore because Peter Parker doesn't technically exist. So the Stark Tech wouldn't recognize him anyway. It'll be cool to finally see him branch out into a man and Spider-Man in general, a real Spider-Man fighting, fighting by himself, fighting crime and things like that by himself. Which in no way, homie, he kind of does a good job on his own for the most part until the other Spider-Men come. And then they kind of team up. But I mean, I'm not knocking that movie. That movie's fucking great. Um, it was really, really cool to like a once in a lifetime opportunity to see them all on screen, and it was just awesome. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think they teased a comic arc or like a comic story they might do with it, but I'm not too sure how accurate that is. But the last thing I read was that they were going to try and do, focus on him being Spider-Man rather than Peter Parker. So that'll be interesting to see where they go with that. I think his next appearance isn't going to be for a few years, actually. Doomsday. And since we're going to talk about, since we're segueing into Doomsday, it kind of makes sense we talk about the latest news with that. I don't know if it's a desperate thing. I mean, I don't know if it was already desperate with them getting Robert Downey Jr. back to be Doctor Doom. I don't see it that way, but it's also kind of weird. But it'll really make it interesting for anybody that's still alive from, the phase one era and phase two, and then also like just Tom Holland Spider-Man interacting with him is gonna be huge. That needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be upset with the writers. But I'm almost positive it'll happen. Tom Holland Spider-Man's in Doomsday, so I think that's when he's gonna make his next appearance. Um, what fucking phase I think we're in phase five still. Phase five has been, I don't know. I mean, I haven't had any problems with it. But they definitely have dropped the quality a bit. I mean, I've liked pretty much everything they come out with so far. I haven't seen Agatha all along yet. I've heard that's pretty good, and it sets up the next storyline, I think. Which I probably should check that out. I still haven't seen Loki season two. There's things I haven't caught up with yet. I think the last Marvel thing I watched was Deadpool and Wolverine, which was great, obviously, but I don't think it's as good as the first one. There's things I didn't like too much about Deadpool and Wolverine, but we're not going to talk about that. Um, but yeah, that's everybody's coming back. That's all I know. I think everybody's coming back for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Um, the latest news is that Chris Evans has joined Doomsday, which is, I guess it's pretty cool, but I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm guessing it's gonna be a variant, maybe. They haven't exactly said who he's playing, to be fair. Um, they just said Chris Evans is returning to Marvel in Doomsday. I'm assuming he's playing Captain America or a version of Captain America, or maybe they're gonna do the Johnny Storm thing again. Variant, maybe. Um, I think it kind of, I think adding him back kind of takes away from Sam Wilson's Captain America. You haven't really had a chance to, they haven't really given him a chance yet. I mean, we did have the show, but he wasn't fully Captain America. He was still the Falcon. It wasn't until the end of the series that he goes full Captain America. So, and that's like the next thing that's coming out to be actually um is a Brave New World, which they are doing more reshoots for that. I'm looking forward to it. It reminds me of Winter Soldier a bit, which is not a bad thing. I'm really hoping it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. And Yeah, I think it kind of takes away from Sam Wilson's Captain America a bit. Kind of messed up, but we still don't know much. I mean, the movie's still 2 years away, so, or I think it's 2 years away at this point. So it'll be interesting. I think that's the latest news as far as I know. As of yesterday, that's what that was announced. Chris Evans is returning. Um, and then this was just announced. Also, we'll segue into. We're still gonna talk about like that type of universe, like the Marvel and Sony universe. Sony has now given up on, as far as we're reading this right now, Sony has now given up on their Spider-Man Sony universe, and Craven the Hunter will be the last thing that they do for the foreseeable future. They have no hope in this movie, which sucks because it looks pretty decent. I mean, as far as like the first trailer, it looks pretty good. You know, I think they could have went with somebody completely different. Somebody bigger. Like the actual character, rather than Aaron Taylor Johnson. Plus, he already plays Quicksilver, or he already played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. So it's a little weird when these actors play multiple characters um, in like the same universe. It's happened quite a bit, but Sony just has no hope for this movie or their universe anymore. They kind of did it to themselves. I'm pretty sure they're just making the movies to keep the rights to the characters at this point. But the only successful one to come out of the Sony universe is Venom, and I mean, that's not saying much. I mean, the Venom movies are good. They would have been better if they were rated R, but the Venom movies are good. They're more enjoyable than anything. The stories are kind of like whatever, but they're funny, they're entertaining, and that's what you should get out of a movie is enjoyability. That's a word. Just going to a movie to escape reality, hoping it'll be decent, decent watch. But yeah, I'm entertained watching them, and I I think that's the most successful thing that they've done. I get a lot of hate for liking Madam Web. I'm a glazer. The movie's not. It's not as bad as people say, but it's not good either. It's just there. It's just kind of there. The acting's not the best. The acting's actually just kind of bad. But the story, is whatever. But the fact that they have like multiple versions of Peter Parker and Spider-Man is kind of ridiculous at this point. That Spider-Man or that Peter Parker that was getting born in Madam Web wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't any of the current Spider-Man that we've had. It was a completely different one. And um, sorry to clear my throat. I didn't want it to come through the mic. It's not as bad as people say, but it's not good either. It's just kind of there. And Morbius, I enjoyed. I thought it was decent. Besides the stupid ass dancing scene, I think if that movie was rated R2, it would have been sick. And it would have been sick if they can get Blade involved in that. But other than that, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. We're not getting sequels to any of these. I'm probably pretty positive about that. I don't think they're gonna do any. As far as what this says, they're not doing any sequels to anything. And Craven's tracking to do, I think, less than Madam Web, if I'm reading that right. They just have no hope in their universe anymore. And like I said, they kind of did it to themselves. They made a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. First of all, people have been, I mean, the fans have been asking for literally any Spider-Man to be in one of these universes, and Sony just won't do it. Everybody should have been trying to figure out who's Venom, who's Spider-Man universe Venom's in, and they teased him going to New York. Actually, they didn't tease him. He went to New York, and Venom 3. Spoilers. Um, and no Spider-Man sighting. Nothing. Not even a tease, nothing. You think that they would have did that, get fans, like excited, but it's just it seems like they just don't care, you know. It goes with all these characters, like just creating a universe without Spider-Man is kind of dumb. Nobody asked for Madam Web. Nobody asked for Morbius, really. Um, Nobody asked for Craven the Hunter. I think they had to change his whole character to begin with because PETA was giving them shit. Um, is what he does. That's what he does is hunt. He hunts the highest game. He hunts the something that might be better than him. So it's just whatever Sony's doing is just not working. It'd be really cool if they just sold back the property to Marvel and just reboot that. Reboot those characters, and with Deadpool and Wolverine being rated R, kind of opens up the it opens up opportunities for different characters to experience different storylines and just maybe get their full potential rather than being stuck behind a PG-13 type movie. So it is what it is. I'm still gonna watch Craven. I'm still gonna watch Brave New World. Um, I don't read critics reviews. I don't read reviews at all. I'll take a glimpse, but I don't judge my video game or movie purchases based on what other people's opinions are, because that makes no sense. You know, if I have something in common with somebody, like for example, my mom or somebody else, where they liked a movie that I know I've been meaning to check out, and they liked it, then I'm like, okay, we have similar tastes, so I know I'm going to enjoy it. Rather than listening to a complete stranger, it's just so annoying how people could listen to somebody else's opinion that way and judge their life based on that. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, it's just annoying that people do that. I mean, I more so listen to what people say with phones or expensive electronics because that's a pretty high end purchase. But a movie, I don't go to the movies often, maybe once a month. But this month is filled with movies. Surprisingly, rated R movies, two rated R movies, I think. Craven, we got Craven, Nosferatu. I don't know how you say that, with Bill Skarsgård. I want to check that out. I want to check out Mufasa. It's just like there's just so many movies coming out right now, um, and it's just expensive. But yeah, I'm definitely checking out Craven. I don't have anything bad to say about it yet. I'm just holding out my judgment for after I see the movie. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna go in open minded. I'm going there to enjoy, to escape reality and enjoy a movie for 2 hours. Hopefully. But I think that's all the Marvel news. We kind of went over the Marvel news quite a bit. Um, I imagine we'll get some type of tease during Brave New World, maybe, to what's coming next. But that's some Marvel stuff. I probably missed something, but at least we covered like some basics. Uh, let's segue into the Game of the Year nominees. I don't even know. I think that's next. Uh, December. Oh shit, that's tomorrow. They might announce Resident Evil 9. Um, that's why I want to tune in. but it's very unlikely that they do. But it's possible that they might. There's been a lot of leaks lately. They might show a small teaser, but I think the game's ready to go, and I think it's going to be out next year. That's what I think. Capcom's pretty good at announcing a game Resident Evil wise, and then it dropping like a year, like within the year or a year later, which is pretty impressive. Um, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully they do. But the rumor is it's going to be Leon and Jill as the main characters, back again. The winter storyline is pretty much done, supposedly. They're gonna try and go back into the main characters, legacy characters. But I think they're gonna continue with the mold storyline still. I think Leon and Jill are trying to uncover the source of where the Evelyn virus came from. So I think that's what the rumor is that they're going with. But we'll see what happens if they announce it tomorrow. It's likely, but um, other than that, I'm not really too excited about the Game Awards this year. Um, the nominees are kind of dull, in my opinion. I mean, the games up for Game of the Year are Astrobot, which I did recently play. That game's great. That game's amazing. I don't, I just don't see it being Game of the Year because it's a family game, and a lot of people probably skipped on it for that reason. It has great moments. Like they take you into certain levels where you can play as like Nathan Drake or Aloy or from Horizon. They have a God of War section. That stuff was awesome. So it has its moments. It's a really easy game. I struggle with some of the bosses and time levels, or like not time levels, but just little mini boss levels. I kind of struggle with a little bit. But the game's amazing. I'm glad I purchased it. I got it on sale during Black Friday, but I would have happily purchased it full price. Um, the game's amazing. It has so many cool moments and so many different characters over the years that Sony has put out. It's really cool to see. But I just don't know if it's gonna win Game of the Year. It's possible, but just the competition it's going up against, it's obvious what might win. The second game is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I'm not into Final Fantasy, so I don't see it winning Game of the Year. This other game, Metaphor Fantazio, Fantazio, I don't never heard of it. It looks like one of those anime games. It's terrible, it's just terrible. They should stop making those. Black Myth Wukong is number 4. Played that. It's a good game, but it's just so tedious. The bosses are so annoying. Probably one of the harder Souls like game I played. I think it's harder than Sekiro, but I don't know. I just struggled a lot. I don't know. It's actually I think Sekiro was harder. I played like I must have been on a boss for 9 hours, bro. And Black Myth, I kind of did struggle that way, but not that much. The bosses are beatable. It's just picking the right class setup. But I think the game of the year is probably going to be either Black Myth or Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erd Tree or Erd Tree. I don't know how to say it. Erd Tree, which is a DLC, but apparently it's as big as the main game. Pretty sure Elden Ring won last year for the game of the year. I think I don't even remember because I was in the hospital. So I don't remember Game of the Year that well. The other game is Bollatro. No idea what the fuck this is. It looks like a card game or something. I have no idea. Systematic card game with zero narrative elements. Yeah, that's what it is. A fucking card game is up for Game of the Year. Like, it's not even that they're not even that these games are bad. It's just there's so many other games that could have made this list. Silent Hill 2, for example. Fantastic game, fantastic remake. Nowhere near nowhere near on this list. Like, it didn't make the list at all. Helldivers 2, I could see it being in the Game of the Year nominees, or literally anything else like that came out besides like a DLC for a game. Like, that's not how, I'm not saying that that's how bad the gaming industry is. It's just that's how bad people are like nominating certain games and then, passing on other games. That's what I feel like. Like, I think Silent Hill 2 should be in that list. I have seen games like come out like literally right before the Game Awards and be nominated for Game of the Year. I think a game should be fully out for a year before we make our judgment on a game of the year, but that's just me. I never really understood their their view on how they put these awards uh like these award shows together, like especially for Game of the Year. Like, I think a game god damn. Next is gonna get mad at that. So it happens when I have to talk all the time. But I think a game should be out a full year before we make it a Game of the Year nominee. That's just me. I don't think a game should be out for a few months and then we judge it based off that. Our opinions change, you know. Our opinions change. Like, if I play a game and I think, oh man, this game's amazing, it should be Game of the Year, but I go back and I'm like, it's not as good as I thought. Maybe it shouldn't be in the nominations. That's how I feel like things should be taken with the Game Awards. A game should be out a full year before we make judgments and be like, oh, this is the greatest game ever, blah 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 blah. But it just never made really any sense to me. But yeah, those are the Game of the Year nominees, and we'll find out tomorrow. Maybe we'll update it on the next episode, whenever that is. We'll see what Nexus wants to do, but we might take a break until after Christmas time because things are just really hectic right now. So we'll have to see what he thinks, and then go from there. But I wanted to put out an episode just to kind of tell you that we're still around. We're just lazy. That's all it is to it. We're lazy and we have different schedules, and sometimes it's just hard to put a episode together, and sometimes there's not a lot to talk about, so it just makes it a little bit harder. But I think we've come a long way. We made a better podcast overall, like, just in general. I think we've come together and made a pretty successful podcast, at least in my eyes. Like, we're not professionals. We just kind of talk shit and babble. That's why the name is the way it is. So it's pretty cool to just be a part of a podcast and be like, oh, we have 67 episodes, coming out, or not coming out, but just under our belt. So we've been doing it for a little while now. So yeah, it's we'll see what's in the books for that. I'm thinking he'll want to take a break until after Christmas, but it gives us time to come up with new ideas and things like that. And like I said, he does pretty much everything. So I try to help out here and there with ideas and little topics to talk about, but being making a podcast is extremely hard. Um, Especially when you have to come up with topics and things like that. There's you don't want to bring like real world stuff into it, I guess, and kind of we kind of just like talking about movies, games, and stuff we're up to. So that kind of ends, I guess, that topic. Oh, well, I got the VR2 during Black Friday. It's actually a lot of fun. Or Ginormous and I finished off Arizona Sunshine yesterday. The game is the VR is crazy. I've never owned a VR. The only time I think I've ever used a VR is when Nexus and I went to Dave and Buster's last year. I played the Vader, like the Star Wars VR, and the headset wouldn't even fit me. It was just hard to get that to work, and it was all sweaty. Um, but this VR is insane. Like it's so much fun. The stuff that you could do with it and things like that. It's just a lot of fun to mess around with. Unfortunately, there's not that many games for it. Like on Sony side, I mean, there's games that I do want to try out. Maybe a couple horror games that we've seen last night. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of. I don't think there's a lot of co-op games, but I did find another shooting style co-op game. So maybe we could. Maybe we'll have to get that. But there's like a few horror games I think I found, and I think the majority of the games might have to be on PC. There is a PC adapter for the Sony VR2, so I just have to order it and try and figure out how to get that to work with Steam. But yeah, I mean, I got that. It's pretty fun. It's a lot of fun. I thought I was gonna regret the purchase maybe, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to use. I tried a little bit of RE8 VR, and it was fucking crazy. Then the Arizona Sunshine, I got a little bit of nauseous and motion sickness from it a few times. It's mostly just climbing the ladder. The ladder just it makes like it's just so weird when you're climbing things, and I was just getting sick. But yeah, other than that, it's a lot of fun. Got some games in the wish list. Hopefully, can get them soon. And yeah, hopefully you guys can tune into the streams or whatever Nexus is doing as far as like recording. He gets in his little splurge where he wants to stream, but I think lately he's just been recording Destiny videos and Destiny builds and stuff like that. So be sure to check out his channel, my channel. It's Koolme now. Koolme with a zero. Because Koolme is taken apparently. So fuckers. And then ImNexusss, three S's. Pretty much everywhere, I think. Um I just made a video. Actually, I just recorded a video, kind of like the life of Koolme stuff. I'm hoping I can get that up tonight. It just saved right now, so I gotta wait for that to render out. But yeah, I mean, just kind of just rolling with the punches right now. Just seeing where the universe takes me at this point. I'm gonna keep doing my best to keep grinding and see what happens. Grind the stream game and just because I love doing it. I enjoy it so much. Um, and yeah, just December in general for me is just. I say it in the video, but it's a little rough. I had I was in I was in the hospital last year around this time. Almost dying and things like that. So it's not an exaggeration. I almost did die. And then just stuff that's happened in the past. It's just kind of creeps up on me during this time of the month. So we're gonna keep pushing forward best we can. Hopefully, we can get Nexus on the next episode. He's not gonna like this episode at all, but it is what it is. Um, just wanted to put something out there. It's not. I wouldn't call it a filler. I'm kind of going over. I thought this episode was well done as far as like just being by myself. I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty decent. I think I could have did a couple things different, but yeah, there's as far as anything else, we'll just see what happens. But probably gonna keep this episode pretty short. It's pushing 40 minutes, and I think that's about all I have in me. I'm surprised it lasted this long. To be fair, I didn't think I was gonna babble on this much. But yeah, well, the Game Awards are tomorrow. Hopefully, update you in the next video. Talk about that. Not video. Next pod episode. Hopefully, we'll update you on that and who won and what we thought. Hopefully, there's a RE9 trailer or announcement. And yeah, if we don't see you before Christmas, I hope you guys have a great Christmas and New Year's. And then we'll be back whenever he's ready to go, and we could put out a proper episode. But I wouldn't call this a filler. I think it's a decent episode. But I mean, it all depends on what he thinks and what you guys think. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to listen on any platform of your choosing, as far as like I think it's on Apple, Spotify, rate it 5 stars or whatever Apple does. It helps us out a lot. YouTube, leave the likes, share the pod. It'll help us out a lot. And hopefully looking forward to the next episode with you guys. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But this is Koolme signing off for this episode. Appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, 5 stars, like, all that good stuff. Fuck Pandora, fuck AMC, and we'll see you in the next episode.